Baby Dude is back with another Baby Dude interview with extreme dads. And I have a super extreme dad right here. He's an animal trainer for Pacific Animal Productions near San Diego. Will Warden. What's up, dude?
Not much. Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
Thanks for coming on, bro. So I'm doing this whole thing, like extreme dads. You train animals and then you go home and be dad. You have two kids, right?
Yeah, just had a baby right before this whole coronavirus thing happened. Actually, just had a son, so he's 2 months now, and yeah, so now I have two. It's like training animals, actually.
But it's hard. It's hard, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Like being an animal trainer. What is your hardest animal to train? Like, what's one you're like, oh my God?
To be honest, it's people. People are the hardest ones to train because the animals, there's always that understanding that they don't know what you're trying to do. So you have to take a slow progression. You have to try and keep everything positive. I can sit here and talk to a person and, you know, their preconception or preconceived ideas about what I do is going to get in the way. And so they've already got an idea of who I am because of working with animals. And then, of course, trying to change people's habits, like trying to keep conservation on the forefront of everyone's minds when we've got all this other stuff going around is really hard. And so trying to train people has probably been one of the hardest things. But if you want an actual animal, big carns, those are usually the ones that you have to be, or monkeys, you have to be a couple steps ahead of both of them before you go in with them.
So if people are, so kids must be hard. That's hard. What has been the most challenging thing about having kids? I mean, you go home and train kids after you train animals. So like, what's your one thing in parenting where you're like, oh my God, because they're different ages, right? You said a couple months.
Yeah. So my son's 2 months, and then my daughter is she's gonna be 5 in June, so she's 4.5 about right now.
Okay, perfect. What's the hardest part about having kids for you? Like, what's the most frustrating? Like, oh my God, I can't deal. This is too much.
I think a lot of the animal training actually goes back into it. Trying to remember that especially with the 2-month-old, he doesn't know what's going on. You know, trying to get him to, he's not going to do anything. I'm not going to train him to do anything, but, you know, trying to figure out what's wrong with him, whether it be he's crying because he's hungry, crying because he needs a diaper change. He might just be uncomfortable. So trying to understand like that is a little easier, especially like when I was saying with people. I mean, my daughter, she's 4.5. She is got so much energy and she has so much personality. And there's times I'll be like, hey, I need you to go do this because I'm trying to take care of the 2-month-old. And she's like, no. And trying to get her to understand, you know, that I need her help, or even we're at that stage, look out, you're going to be there soon, of why, like constantly just why, or I want to do this and this is what I want to do right now is what she's thinking, but it doesn't really work with what we're trying to do as a family. So trying to balance all that.
For sure. I mean, we're entering no, like everything's a freaking no, dude. Like, I don't like move this pen over here. No, like it's and if I do it, he will throw a tantrum and peace out. Like he's out the door. So like, it's
when they say no, and then you go to do it, and then they're like, I was going to do it. And you're like, oh, you told me no. What do you want me to do?
Exactly. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, why did you get into animals? Like, why did you choose that career path?
Actually, it's what I wanted to do since I was 5. I was one of the fortunate people who grew up in San Diego County. So I had the San Diego Zoo, the Safari Park, SeaWorld, and all of those in my backyard. Of course, you've also got hiking trails. So I felt very connected with nature. And there's actually, my mom has a video of me taking all these toy animals and giving them names and giving them backstories and playing with them. And then I heard about this college out in Moore Park. And that's actually how I met you, was through one of the teachers there. So,
yeah.
Yeah, they found out about that school and I decided to apply and go. And I learned about how to use positive reinforcement, operant conditioning, learning vet techniques, and just basically anything and everything that has to do with animals. and trying to apply it to, again, working with them eventually. And so now, yeah, we're a couple different places with animals, but conservation has been my favorite so far. And that's what we do at Pacific Animal Production. So
That's huge. And that Moore Park School is one of the top animal training schools in the country, right?
yeah, it's like the only one on the West Coast. I believe there's one that's in Florida, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I graduated, so I don't remember all the details. But
sure.
yeah, I think it's definitely the only one on the West Coast, and it is absolutely amazing. If anyone is interested in working with animals, it's not going to be being a vet, but being hands-on and working with them and taking care of them, being a zookeeper, it is the way to go.
So because you're an actual animal trainer, Tiger King, right?
Yeah.
What is an actual trained professional, like, animal trainer think of that stuff? Like, what's the deal? Like,
well, you got to remember it's a documentary for Netflix, so it's of course going to be trying to appeal to the masses. I watched it and I couldn't turn it off. I mean, you got to think of all the drama. It was like watching one of those podcasts in real life that are just like you can't turn off. And it was constantly wanting to, like a train wreck. I was constantly wanting to look away, but at the same time I couldn't stop watching. And he is not a good representation of animal trainers or zoos. And it is embarrassing, but it is one of those ones that a lot of people just can't look away. All of us in the animal industry, I think for the most part, are definitely embarrassed by it because they're associating him with us. But his practices are not what most zoos do. And it's really sad that he's getting much more publicity than real good zoos around the world are.
I mean, the guy he's a clown, right? Like, he's just a clown.
Well, I mean, somebody got their arm bit off and he went and put on an EMT jacket. Like, that just gives you an idea. Like, he literally was like, you know what? I'm going to go put on a jacket while this person is suffering. Like,
let me save the day with my jacket because I don't know how to do anything. Anyway, back to hardcore badass dad right here. I like to ask this question to dads. It varies. What product do you use that you're like, that was a lifesaver for me? It's my favorite. I couldn't do it without it. Like, I'm just curious what yours would be.
It's probably a lot of people use it, but for one of the things that we are absolutely in love with is a boppy. It's been cool because, it's great for the mom, but then for us with having a 4.5-year-old, we can actually put it down on the couch and put him in the middle of it because it's like a giant horseshoe. Mm-hmm. And our daughter can sit next to him and play. And there's no worry about him like falling off. We know he's secure. And obviously I'm sitting right there still, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like that has been a big thing, especially because it helps the 4.5-year-old, the older kid, be able to play with him, which I thought was awesome.
I think I love the boppy.
Yeah.
Like, my wife is going to have a baby in a month. Boppy is on point. Like, that thing's bomb.
Yeah. I mean, it wraps around and they can still like just sit there and like, here you go. All right. And then, yeah, there's so many different uses. It's like a Swiss Army knife for babies.
Yeah. Are you writing their ads for them? Is that what you're going to do with this? Or what?
I wish, right?
Yeah. Cha-ching, get paid for that. Let's go. What's one, every parent has a crazy story, whether it be something you messed up. I mean, I have poop stories like crazy. Like, what's your one story where like, holy moly, like, this is unreal?
Oh, man. And we're not talking basic drop the baby on the head type stuff.
Whoa, hey, whoa. Sure.
No, I'm just teasing.
I know.
If they have psychiatric problems later, it's not from that probably. Oh man, I'm trying to think. What's a good story? I do remember my daughter, and I felt horrible for doing this. My wife was picking her up, and she was probably only a couple months old, and she picked her up, and she's holding her up, and she's just like being so excited, and her daughter just threw up, and it went right into her mouth. Oh. And like, it was one of those moments where you want to be like the good father, the good husband, and be supportive. And I just couldn't. I just started laughing so hard. And I felt horrible. Of course, she's like, if it happened to you, I would have laughed at you too. So I understand. But no, I think that's sort of a bad one.
No, I think every parent has right? Every parent has a story like that, whether it's poop or like, it gets to a point as a parent where you'd rather catch that stuff than let it hit the floor anyway, right?
Oh, for sure. And as an animal trainer, I can't tell you how many times I've been like, we take our animals to like libraries, or we'll take them to schools, and we're showing kids, and I see the animal's about to poop, and I literally like reach out and grab it right before it lands on the kid. So it sort of helped working with animals, made me sort of like get over the whole poopy diaper thing pretty quickly.
Right. And come on, you're an athlete. Quick hands, man. Quick hands.
Oh, yeah.
You're there.
Yeah.
You're there.
I see it. Like, oh, I got it.
Quick hands. So you and your daughter and your wife, you guys are all doing these little like animal production videos while we're here.
Yeah.
Right? Locked in. Can you tell us about those things and where people can find that?
Yeah, for sure. That's actually what's in the background is we turned our dining room into a set because our son was born right before the whole thing happened, and they did the stay-at-home orders here in California. We are staying home. So we still don't want to be active in conservation and with animals. So we decided, well, our daughter is pretty stinking cute in our opinion, but she also knows a lot about animals. So we were like, what if we just start making some videos and we'll see if our work will post them. And so about once a week, we do a video of her telling us about animals. There are some things that you go, wait, what? So that's why me and my wife are sitting there with her, and we do clarify if there's a couple things that she says that are not necessarily 100%, but there's a lot of good knowledge about it. In fact, you said you have a dog. I don't know if you've seen the dog treat video yet. She actually teaches how to make a dog treat. It's like you can look over the top and watch how
I haven't seen that one. I'll have to check that one out. But they're super cute. Like, she's so cute on there. And I mean, you're an animal training family. Like, it's bomb.
Yeah, we're definitely. My wife actually works at the same place as us, or as me, excuse me. And so we have animals. It's in our blood. Our daughter loves walking around our zoo and meeting all the animals. So she's picked up on so many things that it's become something she seems to be pretty involved in, and she likes to do it. So,
I mean, I'm going to say, Will, you are the reason why I'm married to my wife, right? So like, this guy brought me, well, I didn't bring me, I brought myself, but I brought my wife, who we just started dating, and gave me the best date you can get in life. Like, we got a backstage tour to see the zoo. We fed animals. We got to play with a monkey. Who gets to play with a monkey? Awesome. So I'm going to thank you for that anyway. But just those are memories that we have. Those pictures up in Luke's room.
Really? That's awesome.
They're great pictures, and they're such great memories. And like, he's got animals all over his room. So like, just so you know how much we appreciated that. It was such a great time. And you're a matchmaker, apparently. That's what you're doing. You do everything.
I'm not gonna take credit for it. I'm gonna tell you it was probably the feeding of the giraffe or hanging out with the monkey. That animals do something to people, man. They bring us together. So I won't take credit, but thank you.
Yeah, it's so awesome. Thing with animals for movies, right?
Yeah, so that's actually, I met you working up in LA, and I was working for a studio company or an animal training company for movies and television. Worked with everything from cockroaches up to giraffes or monkeys, and yeah, it was an amazing time. And then now I'm down in San Diego, though.
Entertainment animal guy right here. Who needs a Tiger King? Find this guy.
Well, that's the great thing about animals is if you figure out a way, it doesn't matter where they're at, you can figure out a way to connect them to people. And that's what our goal is if, I mean, you just said it for me, actually. You could be our spokesperson. If people have a connection with an animal, they're more likely to care about that animal or its cousins out in the wild. So we try to get people to have that connection. And once you've seen a giraffe up close and personal, you're going to care about that, or a monkey, or even cockroaches. I tell people cockroaches are absolutely amazing. And once they have that connection, they're going to care. It's a lot different than looking at a cartoon giraffe or, something that's just on a TV screen. So we try to make sure that connection's there. Yeah,
Dan, and all jokes aside, like, I know how much you care about these animals. So like, I think you're an absolute role model for kids. Like, I think it's great to show you like the good side of animal training and doing that stuff, because you really give a shit, and like, I think that's big time, man. Applaud for you. I think it's great.
Well, thank you, Jeff. That means a lot. I might be blushing here. You might need to like
Well, hey.
get that out.
No, I totally mean it because I'm sure it's not the easiest job. And I'm sure you get frustrated, and then you go home and you're a dad. And that's why, like I said, I'm trying to do these interviews because you can have extraordinary people at their jobs doing amazing things, and then you go home and you're dad, which might be the most extraordinary part of it. I think it's really cool what you do, man. I think you're very appreciated everywhere. I think it's really awesome.
Well, thank you. That means a ton. And like you said, it is tough. There are times where I'm very thankful for the drive home because you can't go working with animals. Like I said, they're not the ones that are the frustrating ones. It's the people, especially all the groups that are out there not really liking zoos nowadays. So when we have to deal with that kind of stuff, it's really hard sometimes to get home and just put that aside and say, you know what, right now it's got to be about my daughter, about my son. So thank you. That actually, it means a ton that you think that about me and about our industry. So
absolutely. Will, I appreciate you catching up with me. We should do this more often, maybe drink a beer, get a beer on here and
oh, I'm down.
Just hang out on here. I want to keep talking anyway.
I'm down.
Do you have anything else you want to plug or people can see? So I know you have the YouTube videos or the Facebook stuff, Instagram. I'll list all these on here on the video. But if there's anything else, toss it out, man.
Yeah, check out PacificAnimalProductions.com or Pacific Animal Productions on Facebook and on Instagram. That's where you can find not only the videos of my daughter and what she's trying to do, but also we're doing educational videos every couple days. We're just trying to make sure that even though we're staying home or we're staying at the zoo and can't reach kids, we're still trying to get them through the through the Zoom or through the Facebook Live and all that. So please check those out. And if you like it, subscribe, like them. That would be awesome. Helps us out in the long run. Other than that, man.
We'll do this again. Actually, you would be cool is if I came there one time and we did a follow-up one actually at the zoo to see what you actually do at the zoo.
Dude, that would be epic. I would love to show you some more animals. And I'm thinking about this. One of the things we're doing now is we're actually doing like paint nights with our sloth. Or we're also doing Zoom meetings where we'll actually bring one of our animals into a Zoom meeting. So if you're teaching still, man, and you've got the class, maybe I can drop.
That would be, dude, this is what I'm talking about, this guy right here, man. All right, dude. Baby dude out. Please check out Will. Links are provided later.